In the summer of 1987, I'm playing minor league baseball for the Charleston Wheelers, Chicago Cubs affiliate. And at this time...
And what level is this? Is this A, AA, AAA?
This is A ball.
Okay.
And at this time, a couple of assaults on white women happened, and the perpetrator is supposed to be a medium to light complexion African American. So at this time, myself and over 150 African Americans from the streets of Charleston, West Virginia were fingerprinted, photographed, questioned.
Wait. 150 of you were fingerprinted?
Fingerprinted, photographed.
Based on what?
It was
just being black?
Yes.
So that was what, a roundup?
Yes, sir. It was like a dragnet to try to capture the assailant that did the crimes.
But how were you caught up in that? And what did they do? They literally, go down to a bar or go down to a club or something? How did that happen?
They went to the University of Charleston. They went to the baseball field where all the blacks were at. They went to neighborhoods where blacks were at. I have over 100 and something police reports from all the individuals that they gathered, including myself.
So this is the Charleston Police Department?
Yes.
So they did a roundup of black men?
Yes.
150?
Around about 150.
Fingerprinted them?
Photographed them? Interviewed them?
Yes. And then what happened?
Including myself and all the blacks off of the baseball team. I was told at that time that my fingerprints didn't match, nothing matched, and I was allowed to leave. We fast forward 2 years later. The Charleston Police Department comes to Florida and lets me know that my fingerprint now matches.
Now, are you playing ball in Florida, or are you no longer playing ball?
I'm no longer playing ball.
Okay, so you're living where in Florida?
I'm in Tampa, Florida. This is my home.
Okay.
So I'm just there. I'm in actually Sharps, Florida, when the police arrive, and they arrive and they question me about. Well, I was getting ready to go to work. They questioned me about the attacks from 1987. And at this time, I say, well, I'll give you hair, blood, urine, whatever is necessary. And they said, we'll do that. And I gave all of that, and I was immediately arrested.
Now, you gave them all of that,
yes,
but you had not talked to an attorney or anything along those lines?
No.
You're just figuring, look, I didn't do this.
Well, I want to backtrack. Yes, I did talk to an attorney. I called my attorneys, my baseball attorneys, and I asked them, was it okay? They said, well, if you haven't done the crime, sure. So I said, well, I haven't done the crime. So I gave everything.
Were those attorneys white?
Yes.
Okay.
From Tampa.
No, I'm making that point because I guarantee you a black attorney wouldn't have said that.
Yeah, these were my agents, so they were my agent.
Again, trusting a system,
yes,
and thinking,
yes,
but not realizing they'd already rounded up 150 black people.
Exactly.
Okay.
But anyhow, I give all the required information, blood, hair, urine. I give all of this to the officers, and I'm immediately arrested. I go back to Charleston, West Virginia. This is towards June 1989. At this time, I'm actually given an opportunity to have a PR hearing, a first appearance hearing. And I was told that I had actually 2 sets of charges. I was only thinking it was 1 set of charges. It was actually 2 sets of charges: sexual assault, burglary, robbery, assault during the commission of a felony. So it was a total of 8 charges. 8 or 9 charges.
Okay, your head has to be spinning as to,
it is,
why am I standing here?
And me believing the whole time I haven't done this crime, and I'm being forthright and upfront, and I'm going to be able to come out of this situation unscathed. I go through the process. I see my lawyer Friday night and Saturday night before the trial starts on Monday morning for the first time. I go into this trial, the lawyer saying, Judge, I'm unprepared. The state is just providing discovery that we requested back in July, August of 1989. Here it is, January 1990. The trial is going on, and I don't have all the information. So at this time, the judge says, well, you guys have a problem. You and your client have a problem, maybe a disagreement. I'm proceeding with the trial.
So your lawyers don't get any discovery for 6 months.
That's right.
And all of a sudden, deal with it, we're going to trial.
We're going to trial. And I actually say also on the record, Your Honor, my lawyer is not prepared for this trial. He's just been presented with all this information, so wherefore we are not prepared. We need to have some time to prepare for this trial.
And he says, don't care. So you go through this trial. So what is this expert? Who is this expert? What do they say?
Well, the expert doesn't come out until trial.
Right.
And trial started on, I believe, January 29th.
Okay.
Fred Zane testified that my forensic characteristics were 99.8% inclusive with the victim, Miss Lillian Ruckman. And on the other case, he testified that he didn't have enough information to obtain a result, a forensic result.
So who is this expert?
His name is Fred Zane. He was a West Virginia State Police chief serologist at the time, and he was a state trooper also.
Still living?
No, he passed away in 2002.
So he goes on the stand and testifies that there's a 99% probability
On the one case.
that whatever evidence was found somehow matched you?
Yes, on the one case.
So he's linking you to one case with
Yes.
DNA.
Yes, and on the other case, he says there is no way for him to give a conclusion because there's not enough information to present that, which we found out was false because there had also been a test on another individual that was done, and there was more than enough evidence, and he gave results on that case. So when he changed his documentation to actually include me on one case and say he didn't have enough information on the other case, that actually catapulted him excluding the guy that was included on one case and including me on the case.
So
it was
he testifies this way.
Yes.
Then all of a sudden, you're sitting in court.
Yes.
Jury comes back with a verdict.
Right.
And you hear what?
I want to backtrack a minute because I listened to a fingerprint change also. It was a thumbprint in blood before I even got back to West Virginia. And when I gave my prints, it became my left middle fingerprint in blood, along with Zane's testimony. So at the end of this charade of a trial, the jury deliberates for 4.5 days. They're deadlocked. 4.5 days, no decision. On that 5th day, after a question was asked, why did I all of a sudden become a suspect? The jury came back within 5 minutes and convicted me on one case and acquitted me on the other case.
So you get convicted and then sentenced to prison.
Yes.
And you're sitting in prison going, how in the world did I get here?
I was sentenced to 110 years. Basically enough time for both cases. Even though I was acquitted on one and found guilty on the other, I was sentenced to 110 years.
And you have to be just, what in the world just happened?
Yeah, I was shook. I was shook for a minute. And it was like a traumatizing effect, you know. And the first few years, you know, I'm from Tampa, Florida. I'm going into an environment, Charleston, West Virginia. We're going into Moundsville, West Virginia. This is an old penitentiary.
How old are you at this time?
I'm 24.
So you're 24 years old.
Yes.
You get hit with 110 years in prison.
Yes.
For a crime you know you didn't commit.
Yes, sir.